I
Okay.
clicked
Done
it.
Are we on? We're live.
Can you click?
Just clicked it.
Are you
Click the
sure?
button.
Click it again.
I'm pretty sure. No, if I click it again, it stops.
Again, that'll turn it off, right? Don't click it again. Just
Maybe you should turn it off and back on again just to make sure it
It's
works.
a toggle, not an on button.
Do we still introduce ourselves? Because I'm totally going to screw that up again.
Yes.
I know it.
you can go last.
I'll go last. All right.
I'm not last anymore.
Okay,
So in other words, go after Ryan.
no, but wait.
All right.
Okay, wait. So it goes David, Ryan, Cody, me, Ryan, and then Jeff.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Probably.
I'm still gonna get that wrong.
Yeah, so this is a full house.
I will too. It'll probably be an awkward pause, and then I'll do mine. It'll be great. I'll sell it.
Yeah.
All right. Are we all ready then?
Yep.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to the Android Police Podcast. I'm David Ruddick.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
I'm Cody Toombs.
I'm Corbin Davenport.
I'm Ryan Hager.
And I'm Jeff Beck.
And there are so many people on, including Jeff, who is broadcasting live from inside his own car. It's not moving this time, though.
Yeah, I
Is
like
this,
I like your more casual opening too. I think that's the way you should go.
Yeah, it is. It is more casual. I like the casual. So, let's see. I went to Samsung's developer conference yesterday in San Francisco. So we could talk about that a little bit because they did a thing. They did two things. One is something that actually probably doesn't matter that much, but it's exciting. And the other one is something that probably actually is our audience is more excited about because night mode.
Real quick
Ooh.
before we get into that, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh yeah.
For the people watching on YouTube, we turned the chat off there, so we don't have to read that anymore. So if you want to talk to us, you have to do it on Twitch.
It was too difficult keeping track of two chats.
Yeah,
None of us were.
Corbin
that's
laying
too
down
much.
the law.
And all the you're not allowed anymore.
Can't talk there anymore.
We've silenced you. No, but yeah, Twitch is where all the cool people have been anyway. So
End of discussion on
Yeah.
YouTube.
yes.
Oh crap! My lights.
Oh.
on.
Yes, if you're not. That's amazing.
For those that are just listening, Jeff just went totally dark.
That's fantastic.
Jeff
That's
has to
awesome.
turn on his car again.
Well, Jeff figures out how to operate the on position of his map light.
Dome lights are difficult.
There we go.
Those damn dome lights. Talk about Samsung
This is brought to you by 2011 Buick Regal, by the way. So yeah.
vehicle. So Samsung announced the next version of TouchWiz, which isn't called TouchWiz, but we're still going to call it TouchWiz because what else are you going to call it? Samsung.
What is it called now? Anyways.
It's called One UI now.
What? Okay.
Well, for the last 2 years, it's been the Samsung experience.
Yeah, and before that, it was like
TouchWiz.
before that it was like Samsung Nature UX or something. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, with the
I know.
stone and the. I remember that one. Yeah.
yeah.
Times.
So it's not been TouchWiz for a little while, but it's always TouchWiz in our hearts. So new TouchWiz, basically the thing they're doing, which makes so much sense. If you've ever used a Samsung phone, they're very top UI heavy. So everything happens at the top of the screen and all the stock apps, and also the notification bar, of course. So they're moving all the navigation to the bottom of the phone on all the apps for one. Like that's the big change. So bottom navigation for everything, which is more reachable because phones are super tall now. And also made completely of glass, which those two things clearly are not a recipe for disaster. Yeah, so basically that's the big functional change. There are some definitely visual changes. So many more rounded corners. You can't even believe how many rounded corners there are. For some reason, the focus is locking on Jeff. Do we have Jeff selected?
No, it's on you. It's on you.
Yeah, it's moving around for us. This is just a Hangouts being weird thing.
Oh, Hangouts being weird.
You have all
So,
the attention, David, just like you like it. No worries.
Just twist it in.
This was
So
the
I
last podcast Jeff was allowed to be on.
So I think overall the changes are positive. The rounded corners a little annoying, but otherwise we didn't hear that, Jeff, because you went all robot-y. So I don't know what you said. I'm sure it was very smart. Anyway, we the UI changes really are mostly focused on like moving UI elements down and then rounded corners everywhere. So it looks a little cleaner. I don't know if I like the big block colors they're using for some things. It looks a little too, I don't know, basic sometimes, and a little too like it can be a little too fun sometimes. But overall, I think those changes on the usability side are positive. And I think the other big change that people are going to like, there's a night theme that turns basically everything black.
Is it like actually AMOLED black or just like dark?
It's black.
I dig that.
Yeah. So like all of the stock apps turn black. It's great. It's
that's definitely going to excite people.
Samsung
everybody-
after dark. That is exciting, man. I like it.
I mean, I sort of like I can get behind like the bottom navigation. That makes sense to me. That's fine. I feel like moving all of this content into like all of the interactions are happening in like the bottom third of the screen, and that just looks weird to me.
Yeah,
I feel like they're wasting a lot of space. And that's great. Like if I only use my phone with one hand, but like a lot of the time I have two hands free and I like use the phone like that. I don't necessarily want, half of my screen to be useless the whole time.
Honestly, I don't think it actually, my opinion, it doesn't actually make that much difference in day-to-day use, because the only app you'd be probably using a lot is like Samsung's messaging app. And honestly, everything else, like,
well, I mean, yeah, but then like, why even do this then? If nobody's using the apps.
Liam in chat asked a very important question. Okay, wait, what does it look like in landscape? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Samsung has gotten rid of landscape on their phones. You just can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I feel like the changes are mostly geared toward, probably less informed users, because most of the people using a lot of these apps, like, they're your average customer. And I think Samsung develops to the least common denominator. And I think these reachability changes are probably important for those customers. I think they're good overall because I think bottom navigation is better. But I don't think they're really going to impact the way you have the experience on the phone in a huge way. I think they'll occasionally, like if you use the clock, if you use the calculator, if you use the messaging client, you'll see it there. But like in the settings and stuff, and like, the power widget toggles, like none of that's really changing in a big way. There's that. I think the night theme is probably the biggest one. Like I just leave it on all the time. I would never turn it off. I would just have the phone that way all the time. And what I'm hoping, my real sincere hope, is that Samsung will be basically the kind of impetus for more development of dark modes in apps. Hopefully. I know Google
is Samsung going to have an API for this that is incompatible with the eventual Android dark mode API?
Yeah, I don't think so. I bet they're just using the one that's baked into Android. Like there's a simple way to detect in Android the theme switcher, thing. So I bet it's using that. At least I hope so. So I know Google talked today at the Android Developer Summit about dark mode in apps because it uses less power. So more black in apps, less power consumption. So clearly someone in Google and some people in Google have decided that dark is important. So why don't you tell all of the app teams that, guys?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel like it's
and the OS team.
I feel like everybody's like, okay, we're going to get on the new material and it's going to be white because that's like the default. But then once they do that, it's easier to then say, okay, and now the apps can switch to dark mode when we finally implement this toggle that people have wanted for years.
Yeah, my retinas at 2 a.m. would be very happy if they would do that. So,
yeah, I mean, because until now, the Google apps have been pretty inconsistent. Like they've looked all kinds of different ways, so there wasn't like an easy way to implement dark mode in them.
Yeah, and as Liam points out, and Liam, who should just get on the damn podcast, dark mode is a fascinating and nuanced topic, and it's not as easy as it looks to make a good dark mode. And I'm sure that's true. Think of apps like Gmail. How do you do dark mode email? Like the white text is like, ugh, I can't. That too much white text on a black background does not look good.
Yeah, that like screws up your eyes. Like you can't do anything else for a few minutes after that until like your vision has corrected.
I read all.
And then also
white on black. You guys are. I don't know what you talked about.
Well, then the other issue I see with that is that HTML formatted emails assume the background is white. So you're going to have emails you just cannot read in dark mode if they don't also make the background white there. But then it's not a dark mode.
Yeah. So, and I think the other kind of like, so here's another example, like Google Maps. How do you do Google Maps in dark mode? That's like a question that needs like, 800 people in 5 years to answer. Okay, it's like a cartography question. Like you need to do a research paper on that topic for maps.
Well, doesn't it have
has
that?
dark mode.
Yeah.
For navigation.
It has for years.
Yeah.
For navigation.
Yeah.
It does.
Not for map view. Yeah.
It has both.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it? I don't
I think-
know that I've seen it change, because I mean it's night. It's night where I am, and if I look in maps, like it's still daylight map.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
it only
sure.
changes for me in navigation.
Yeah. Navigation's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's a navigation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, I know it's hard, but at the same time, it's like, and I agree. Some of the ways Samsung's handled it in some of their applications, for example, they did it in their Notes app. And so the way they did it there was actually kind of bad. So all black background and huge white note bubbles for the notes. So it's like it defeats the purpose. You still have these searing bright white note bubbles. They should be gray, realistically. But it was just, there's some kinks to work out, and I will not be the person to say that, yeah, we should trust Samsung to get this right the first time. Samsung's going to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
But I think it's in the right spirit of things.
So is this new interface the same one that's been leaked previously? There's no additional changes. One UI is what we've seen before in these Android Pie leaks for the S9.
I honestly haven't been paying attention to them.
Okay.
I mean, I think like the rounded corners, I remember seeing those all over the place. I don't know if they had the layout changes in the other.
Yeah, I haven't used it myself, so I wouldn't know, but it looked like it was about the same. I didn't know if you'd examined it in any detail.
It was probably still in progress, I would think.
Yeah, so the scuttlebutt is that Samsung will do closed beta stuff, and including the US and carriers starting next week.
I thought it was an open beta.
Yeah, it will be, not next week. But like they're going to start doing a closed beta next week, and then the open betas later.
Also, if people want to know more about how hard it is to make dark mode work, they should look in the Twitch chat, because Liam is in there saying all sorts of things that I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. He is. So moving on to the more kind of ooh and ah part of Samsung's developer conference. Like they get on, they talk about things, they talk about Bixby, and everybody's like, ugh. And some guy did a stupid thing with a duct tape tie. Anyway, so we get past all that garbage, and it really was bad. Then the Samsung display guy gets up on the stage, and everybody's like, like, why are you talking about display technology at a developer conference? These people aren't developing displays. This guy's up there just doing he did a 15-minute Samsung display history brag. Like they just started the original Galaxy S AMOLED display. He just kept going generation after generation, innovation after innovation, and
that excites.
Yes, it really did. And so he gets the end to the point, and then he's like, and now let me invite some other guy up on the stage. And, so then this other guy came up, and he's like, anyway, more display history BS. And then, it's like, the foldable phone. And so, they take out the foldable phone. So it's a concept device, but the sense I get, it's like they didn't call it a concept. It is a concept of a going to be production device. Is the sense
they had it in a big blocky case to hide the appearance, which I think was a mistake because it made the phone look like a giant crazy brick.
So actually there is a picture of it out of the case that's drawn that Samsung published in a slide during their presentation about foldable displays. I can't get it up on this. Well, I can try to get it up on the screen here real quick. This is gonna take me a minute.
I think I saw that from their like they gave like a couple more details, like they had like resolution and screen sizes and stuff.
Yeah, the screen size, yeah, because the screen sizes will make you kind of scratch your head.
Yeah. So okay, we should probably explain what the device is. So like it's a foldable phone thing. So on the outside, like you fold it up like a sandwich or like a taco. The outside has a little screen, like and it's little. It's like 3 point something inches or 4 point something inches, whatever. It's tiny. And like there's are big bezels all the way around it. But then you fold the phone open, and the inside has a 7.2 inch tablet display, and it's the same. I mean, it's the same phone. So like what you're doing on the outside screen just is also on that big screen. And I mean,
Why?
So you can have a bigger screen.
Okay. They
only showed this phone for like 15 seconds. Like he took it out of his pocket and he folded it and unfolded it twice and then put it back in his jacket pocket. I mean, I'm super interested in this from a technology just like a pure technology perspective. Like I want to see what they do, but at the same time, it's like I don't know if this is actually something that I want my phone to do.
So here on my screen, for those people watching, here is the foldable phone, like in drawing, basically. So you can see it's got these crazy fat bezels on the cover display, like bezels that make an iPhone blush. Like they're like the iPhone 4 on steroids.
It's a 21:9 ratio.
Yeah, so it's super narrow, and it is super small. So it's 4.58 inches on the front and 7.3 inches in the tablet mode unfolded. So that gives you a sense of what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, if you tell me like I can have a device that is like a regular phone, and then when I want a bigger screen, it can be a bigger screen, that sounds great. But when you tell me it's that piece of hardware, I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I don't need that.
There are other limitations
right
that are probably going to have to come into play. How many times can it be folded before it loses whatever flexibility?
Yeah, I mean, Samsung said hundreds of thousands, but like that's what they say on stage. Who knows?
Yeah. What's the
There's a screen made out of in the middle too. Is it plastic?
They said it's a custom polymer.
I don't know what that word
and
means.
they created like a flexible adhesive or whatever that's supposed to keep the display laminate layers together after you've been folding it and unfolding it. But I mean, who knows how durable it's actually going to be.
I'm just imagining sand getting in between those two screens, and that thing's going to be toast in like a week in your pocket.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not going to be as scratch resistant as glass.
How tightly does it shut? Is it like a very large radius, the fold, or do we know?
We do not.
It's a pretty tight radius if it's something you're going to be able to handhold.
Can you use it to make paninis?
They had it in that big, like in the big case, like when he actually had it out. So it's hard to see. It's hard to say, like how much it folds. You could just see him like open and close it. Like the diagrams they showed, it looked like it got down there. It's not like that FlexPi phone from a couple days ago, where like you close it and it's basically like it's like a giant wedge.
Oh yeah, it's not
like the Surface Book.
Yeah.
No, I think it will be an internal hinge mechanism, and it'll fully shut. I think Samsung could have done this half-assed, and I think that it looks mostly fully assed to me. Like I think this is they've done their homework in terms of like basic concept, but I think they're going to run into the basic technical limitations that material science is just going to create. So plastic display cover on the large tablet display, without a doubt, it has to be. If Samsung's like, we developed material that's as hard as glass but flexes like plastic, the U.S. government may be like, whoa, wait, let's cut this down.
Yeah, no, they didn't. I mean, they didn't like give any sort of specific in that respect. They were just like, we designed something that was both tough and flexible. Like, okay, but how tough?
So it's
transparent aluminum.
Yeah. So it's like the new Moto Force, where it's gonna be scratch heaven.
But it won't crack.
God, probably. I mean,
it will not crack. It is an unbreakable display. So I think we have to use it. Like it's hard to form opinions on durability without any of the information. We just don't have it. I think the other issue is this. So 4.5-inch phone. Sure. 5 years ago, like, yeah, that was a totally acceptable size for a phone. Pretty normal. The iPhone 6 was the first iPhone to surpass 4.5 inches, and it was 4.7. So that's relatively recent. But I think that the other issues, the hinge, like, if it makes the phone too thick, it could just be unwieldy and uncomfortable to use. So I think that's number one. I think number two is, like, on display that size, 4.5 inches, developers, like, yeah, sure, apps work just fine, but the web, even, like, in developers, nobody's really targeting for that display size anymore. They're assuming that people have a bigger canvas to look at things.
Yeah, and it's so tall and narrow. And I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a
ratio.
fan of, like, the 18:9 screens. I think those are way better, just in for general use. But 21, I mean, it's so much taller that if you're reading a web page, you're gonna have to go back and forth, like, after 5 words.
Yeah, unless they make the DPI like crazy big to the point where you have to squint to see the words.
Or they could add extra bezels above and below to make it 18:9 within that screen size, so that you get like a third of the screen right in the middle.
I think software-based, like, black bars is where they should go.
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
And also Liam brought up in the chat, the battery life on this is,
that'll be a big concern.
yeah, because you're gonna have to split it in half, like one in each hinge.
Actually, no. My theory is that the batteries all live in the cover display side, and that's why the bezels are so chunky. Like, they could have made the display even longer, but they didn't. And I think that's just because those black areas are filled with battery. And I bet, so it's a 7.3-inch device unfolded. I bet they've managed to fit maybe a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in this thing.
Probably a little bigger with the two sides there. I'd say maybe 5.
I mean, they could be like, they could have put some like weird, like, multi-tier battery in, but I don't know.
Does
They
have a headphone jack though?
Yeah,
I feel like they're not going to want to get too crazy with the battery, because if they released another phone that explodes, that would be a big problem.
The incentive then would be to go with less aggressive batteries in both parts. If that were actually a concern.
What if there's a battery in the top lid and in the bottom lid, and there's 2 USB ports that you have to plug in to charge the phone?
You have to charge them individually.
I don't think the issue is as much space as you guys think. I think the issue is weight. I think if you put a big battery in the thing, it's going to be so heavy, and it's already going to be heavy with the hinge mechanism and the supporting components, just for this thing to be durable enough to be, like, usable in daily life. This is going to be a heavy device, and I think if you put in a battery that's super big in this thing, like, it's going to be a brick.
So
you won't want to use it.
I mean,
there's
I
actually
think
another
it's
practical
just...
issue. If they stuck all the battery on one side, the weight distribution is going to be just ridiculously bad. They're going to have to put battery on both sides. Otherwise, you're going to have something that if you held it anywhere but, like, on the edge with the battery, it's going to want to topple out of your hand.
But then you have to wonder, like, how are you how are you going to do the engineering to connect these, like, multiple battery cells across this, like, folding phone in a way that they don't get tweaked over time, like, as you're folding and unfolding this phone all the time?
Well, no matter what, there's going to have to be wires that are connecting the two sides already.
That's not a problem that isn't solved. Like, that's actually pretty easy among all the engineering tasks they're going to have to deal with.
I wonder what the mechanism is that holds it open as well, so that it's not folding in on you while you're opening and closing it.
That just clamps down on your hand.
I think that's a good question, and I think that's actually an important one, because I think that if the display is going to have a reasonable life so the first time I saw a foldable device was, and I've got it in a piece I'm working on, Lenovo, when they unveiled the original Moto Z, had, like, this technology showcase, and they had, like, 3 foldable concepts, and one was a foldable, like, phone that turned into a tablet, except it wasn't an innie foldable, it was an outie foldable, so, like, it folded out. Anyway, so in the middle where the hinge was, the plastic had, like, started to form, because that's what plastic does. It starts to bend and take shape because it's so malleable, and so the tablet had, like, a hump in the middle when it was unfolded, because the plastic had just, like, started to bend, and that was like, no.
I mean, and that's what that FlexPi phone looked like the other day too. It had a very lumpy screen.
screen wrinkles. So yes, screen wrinkles is an issue. So I think Samsung, the way they do it, there has to be some kind of rigid mechanism that's holding the phone taut when it's open that way. And so I'm guessing there's probably a button or a switch you have to press or pull to make the phone close into the phone position again. But maybe not. Maybe they figured out. Maybe it's something that's motorized that, you know, it detects. Yeah, it could be magnetic. Yeah, I think that is a big challenge.
It's like a parking brake on the side of the phone. You just have to pull it once you take it out.
Yeah, so if you watch the animations of it in action, it looks very smooth. He opens it with his hands and closes it with his hands, and it's like, oh yeah, it looks like, you know, doesn't look like spring loaded or anything.
I'm also a little curious, and this is obviously something they'll just work out in time, but I'm really curious what's going to happen when it comes to sort of the halfway between situation, because at some point your fingers are going to be touching a screen that you're either thinking is currently inactive or is currently active, and you're like as you're opening and closing this thing, or if it goes part of the way open for whatever reason, like you could have a lot of accidental touches as a result of this thing.
Well, yeah, that was actually a huge problem on ZTX on M when flipping between, like, to use the camera and stuff, but that was badly designed. I think on this one will be less of an issue because it looked like the tablet display didn't turn on until it was fully extended. So it waited until that happened to turn on the other one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be less of a problem with the 2-screen foldables, but Google is also they're also going to support the single screen foldables, where I guess it would fold the other way. So you would fold it over and you would have like a screen on one side that you were using and then like another one.
The outward taco.
Yeah.
I think the biggest question is what kind of marketing we're going to see for this thing, and will they use contortionists or not when they unveil this device to the public?
Hey, what was the name of that really obnoxious kid? Maybe they can drag him back in, and
that's me,
be
Cody.
the ringleader.
That was really rude, Cody.
What was it? Timmy?
It was Jeremy.
Whatever. Jeremy, yes.
Which
the
launch
subway
was
nuts,
that?
Jared.
Was that the Galaxy S4?
Yeah, I think so.
Something
Oh
like
god,
that.
That was the one where they had like, oh god, they had all those like stupid skits. Like there was that one where the lady was sexually harassing the gardener.
Oh yeah,
And,
classic.
Yeah.
Oh man, it
We
was
should do an
so
episode
bad.
on Samsung commercials. That'd be classic.
Yeah, Samsung's gotten away from the gimmickry in the press conferences. It's made them so much more boring. I practically fell asleep.
Did they have good refreshments at least?
No. Oh wait, yeah, they did actually. We had the bag with the cookies in it, and those cookies were so good.
You got a bag with cookies?
Like
they give
the
us
double
lobster
treat?
rolls.
What we're talking
They
about?
gave us the cookies at the Note 9 launch. Weren't you there?
I was
there?
eating lobster rolls. I
Oh
was
yeah,
eating all the lobster rolls.
there were the cookies, the box they gave us with the pre-wrapped cookies.
Oh,
my
whatever.
God.
They were fine.
They were like the size of a mountain. They were huge, gigantic, amazing cookies. If you threw those away, I feel bad for you because you missed out on the life experience.
And now all of a sudden I want to go to the next Samsung event. This sounds like a happening thing.
Good.
Yeah. And
But
make
the
sure
Note
to
9
check.
conference was so boring. I asked Samsung about it after the event was over, like, hey, you guys going to show anything more about this at any point? And apparently the answer is no. So I bet we'll see it teased again at CES, but I bet it'll just be like a photo montage during the press conference, and that'll be it. I don't think they're going to show the device until they unveil the S10. So
How much
it was
it's going to cost?
Oh yeah, I
lot.
bet.
A lot. In excess of $1,000, probably.
Yeah, I
Oh,
bet
they did.
$1,000 probably.
I'm thinking 1,500 at least.
Yeah,
I bet it's
1,500
more
is-
than that. I bet it's more. They're not going to sell that many, so all of the R&D has to go into the few units they sell. It's going to be like
Samsung can take a hit.
Yeah.
Look, Samsung has lots of money. They can take a hit on this phone a little bit just to be like, look, we made the first commercial foldable phone.
And you're going to sell
I
it?
think they're going to go the route of limited availability with a moderate price tag because it's a show-off model. It's a sports car. It's not practical.
I don't know if they want that many people to have it because I think they know it's gonna the first foldable phone is gonna be rough.
What if they make a sub brand specifically for this phone? like like the Xiaomi Poco phone. I can see them doing that. Where like they don't want to brand this like as a Samsung phone. It's some like weird concept.
or not a Galaxy phone.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
think it's going to be a Galaxy.
They use the
I
Galaxy name for everything now. Like,
I could
Galaxy
see them like, I
Windows.
guess, I mean, yeah, they call everything a Galaxy something now.
They use the Galaxy name even on fairly junky phones. So yeah,
They use the Galaxy name on phones. They use it on Windows laptops now. They use it on watches that don't run Android.
They're going to call this one the Galaxy Cluster because it's like
Yeah.
bigger than just a regular Galaxy.
The black.
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder what they will call it. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so it also strikes me, and I know, I mean, we all know the answer to this. It's obviously not going to do this, but as soon as this comes out, a whole bunch of people are going to be asking, why doesn't it support a stylus? And again, we know the answer. It's obviously, that's like stacking too many things on top of one device right at the start.
I mean, technically, it will
Dent the plastic on the screen. Like,
oh, of course.
Yeah.
But it'll work.
But you got to
style for
that's
sure.
going to be one of
Oh,
that's
that'd
going to
be
be a whole bunch of people are saying is, hey, finally a big enough screen that warrants a stylus, and there's no stylus.
Oh man,
Gosh, they have enough room on that bezel for a full like keyboard as well, like BlackBerry style. They can go on both ends. You can type whatever direction you want.
Yeah, why? Yeah, why? Where's the fold-out keyboard? With
This is quickly becoming like the Homer Simpson car.
yeah. Shout out to Jan Solo, who says the food at this event wasn't very exciting. It's true. They used the standard Moscone catering at the SDC. It was terrible. I did not eat any of it.
Chris in the Twitch chat said the Galaxy omelet.
The Galaxy omelet. I like the Galaxy taco. Yeah, I wonder realistically what they will call it. Maybe the Galaxy.
The Galaxy Mini Press. I like that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe the Galaxy. These things stupid like the Galaxy New.
I would bet money they're gonna go for something stupid like Galaxy Flex.
The Galaxy Sexy.
Because LG already did it. They called saying the G Flex.
Yeah,
They'll
it wasn't good. It was bad.
They'll do a cross promotion with the Flex Seal guy.
Oh.
I'm gonna hit the Storis. We'll figure this out. Galaxy 10.
The Galaxy Cirque du Soleil.
There we go.
See
With
it.
the contortionist.
It all circles back.
And so Google had a presentation alongside this. The Android Dev Summit was going on at the same time as SDC, which is weird. They announced that Android is going to have platform level support for foldable screens, which honestly, to me, like, I understand this is a very interesting conundrum for designers. Like, what's the experience like when you fold open a phone and the app goes into the unfolded UI? Like, in actuality, this is very much a visual question, and one that, like, I don't think is actually worth its own announcement. Like, this is a very small feature in the platform that caters to a very niche user interface experience, and one that honestly doesn't matter much. Like, if Google actually cared about like how apps reflowing apps on a Chromebook wouldn't be a goddamn disaster, but it is. So
I mean, maybe this will help apps not be so terrible when they have to change size while they're running.
Yeah,
don't think
yeah. Is this just a new breakpoint when when developers make apps? Is this like, if screen wider than this, then have another UI? I mean, it's gonna suck if like every foldable phone you use, if you have an app on like the non-unfolded version and then you fold it out or open or apart, however it works, if the app has to like reload every time you do that, that will be extraordinarily annoying.
Well, I can tell you what,
I think that's the way
Spotify will stop playing every time you open the phone.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, a lot of Android apps now, I've noticed, especially on Chromebooks, you can resize them and they'll keep running, but there are still so many apps that don't target Nougat or whatever the version was that added the live resizing.
Well, Google is not letting developers use super old APIs anymore.
Yeah, but the live resizing is super jank. Like, on some apps, yeah, it works in the very strictest of senses.
It depends on the app. Like Keep, no problemo. That resize is fine, but it's because it's all static content.
Yeah. Some apps, no. It's like, yeah, it's resizing. App is crashed. It's not good. I think that Google is like trying to basically it's window dressing on a shattered window. Like, it's broken. Guys. Like, you're making it look nicer, but no, it's still, there's some fundamental issues going on there. Android apps are never designed to do this.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the instances where progressive web apps are actually better than native apps because
that has been reflow friendly for 20 years.
CSS solved this problem about a decade ago. Keep up, Google. Come on now.
Yeah, that's so true.
And CSS has no problems of its own.
So before we get into our shameless self-promotion, we have a quick story. We think we know what the name of 2 upcoming Google devices are Bonito and Sargo, which are fish. So probably Pixel phones, but maybe not.
I thought they could be the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. Weird.
Well, they could be the previously rumored mid-range devices because they're both Snapdragon 710s that were rumored to go to India, right?
Were there 2 previously rumored? I knew there was one, and
right.
It's been like 6 months since the Bonito name originally leaked, but Sargo is completely new.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe they're both the same device. One is the device when it's folded closed, and then the other one's the device is folded open. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's a good conspiracy theory.
We don't really know anything else aside from that. And so with that, it's shilling time. So we're now a Twitch affiliate. So like you're not going to hear, you're not hearing any ads on the channel because we don't have any ads to give you, but we're going to advertise ourselves. So if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, or if you're on Twitch a lot and you have money and you want to pay to subscribe to us, mostly the former. So if you use Amazon Prime, you can get a free Twitch subscription as part of your Amazon Prime benefits. You just have to link your Amazon Prime account to Twitch, and it's pretty easy, at least if you're in the US. I think we got an email from somebody outside the US, and maybe it's not as easy for them. But if you're in the US and have Amazon Prime, linking your Twitch account is simple. Just go to your account settings or just Google it, dude. And you can subscribe to 1 channel for free a month. And if you don't use Twitch, like subscribe to Android, please. We get money when you do this. So like you're helping support the channel. And it doesn't cost you anything other than 45 seconds of your time. If you are already a subscriber, PSA, you have to re-up your subscription basically once, what is it, every
month.
Every month. So if you resubscribe, we get money again. It's awesome. And you don't pay anything again. So just keep doing it. It's great for everybody. So just go ahead and click subscribe on Android, please, once you've linked your Twitch to your Amazon. Or if you just have money and you're on Twitch, just subscribe to it.
Yeah. Also, a fun bonus, if you do it while we're actually streaming, you will see a Pixel 3 XL notch slide down over top of the screen with your name on it.
Super.
That's just a bonus.
Yep. Anyway, now
Cody said there might be a little more to the story about these 2 fish, though.
Oh, really? Okay, we can keep talking about it. I can just scrub out some of these stories that are not interesting.
So basically, I was looking at the profiles that were added to the ARCore app. That's where these names turned up. And one key detail, which also kind of backs up the mid-range thing, is it looks like they are probably going to only sport front and rear cameras, a single camera each. So unlike the Pixel 3 and 3 XL, which have 2 front cameras, 1 rear, and then technically they also have a virtual camera, but that's getting into weird weeds. So yeah, that seems to back it up. Plus the original timing estimated, or when the original Bonito leak hit, it predicted that that phone would be fall winter 28, like into 2018 timeframe. So if anything, it's kind of shaping up like Google could do a mid-range device, say early 2019. I mean, it's all completely speculative, but if they're going to do it, that would be probably the time for it.
That would be very interesting. I don't need 2 cameras on the front of the phone, so that certainly wouldn't bother me. And maybe that would mean a not so gigantic notch, if indeed there is a notch.
I want lots of stuff on the front of the phone because, God damn it, I want Face ID. Just give it to me, Google.
I mean, I want that too, but that's kind of why the dual cameras on the Pixel sort of insult me, because you could have used this space for something better, Google.
Yeah, I mean, I've used the wide angle selfie camera, and it's helpful if you want to capture more of a scene. But man, just you've got 2 cameras. They probably can do stereo 3D stuff. I bet it's reasonably good. It's annoying. It's the same reason I feel like I'm going to feel betrayed by the Pixel Slate. Like, yeah, it's got a fingerprint scanner, but like you have tons of room for camera things in there. You could have done an infrared sensor. Microsoft can figure it out. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. Speaking of the Pixel Slate,
it's up for pre-order now. So pre-orders outside of Google are all for the M3 through i7 models. So you can
only get the cheap ones from the Google store.
And
but I don't know if you want to buy those.
And I think that's how it's going to stay. And I agree. So we're getting, well, I guess I can't talk about it. Anyway, never mind.
David spilled the beans.
When we review the Pixel Slate, whenever that happens, I don't know. So I know that whenever Google sends a review unit for something, they like to send, for laptops, like they want to send the better one, usually, for the better experience. I sincerely doubt when and if Google sends us a review unit of the Pixel Slate, they're going to send us one of the Celeron ones. So I assume we'll get like either the M3 or the i5. So I am going to ask Google for a Celeron one, specifically just to see what the experience is like, because the Celeron version has a slightly inferior GPU, less RAM by far, so it's 4 gigs, and Celeron significantly slower and doesn't have hyper-threading. So
there's a version of the Celeron, I think, that has 8 gigs of RAM. Like you can upgrade to that.
Yeah.
At that point,
it's still getting 2 logical threads.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I don't know why you wouldn't just pay the extra $100 or whatever to get the M3.
Yeah, I still cannot believe that the base version, the processor in it only has 2 cores and there's no hyper-threading.
Well, I'm not that concerned about the GPU, but I am concerned about the lack of hyper-threading, the fact that it's just a dual core, because the GPU is the same GPU that's in the chipset that's in the Pixelbook right now, and it's driving only a few more pixels, right? I think the resolution.
No, it's driving way more. It's way more.
Like
yeah,
it's 3000 by 2000. The Pixel.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
Okay, I guess that is a little bit more. Then yeah, there might be a bit of a concern.
Yeah, so I'm concerned. I'm sorry to Jeff Ribb, who did not see his notch when he subscribed. Also, thank you to Jeff.
That was me, actually.
Yeah.
So
I don't care.
I subscribed though. It's super easy for people to know. It's if I could figure it out, you could figure it out. I guarantee it.
So I'm curious how that works out. I also think that Google, like by keeping the GPU models on the Google Store, they think that like they expect people to buy at least the the M3 is $800, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is without the keyboard.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
With the keyboard, it's an even 1,000.
Yeah,
that's crazy, Google.
So my bet is that the holiday sale we're going to see like almost immediately is the i5 version for $1,000 with the keyboard bundled, because it won't infringe on the i7, because the i7 version is priced in crazy land territory, and so like it'll just be like, oh, just buy the i5 because you get it for the same price as the M3 with the keyboard and it's bundled in. You get a better processor. So I'm betting that's going to be the bundle. I'm guessing the Celeron models will never, ever, 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 ever be discounted, because the margin on them has to be crazy thin. The M3 and the i5 is where Google expects to make all the money on these. So we'll see. I'm curious, at least. The problem is, the thing is, when we used them at the Google event, they were all the M3 versions. They were so slow. Like, they were real bad.
Yeah.
And they're saying, yeah, like brand new software. Like, it was so bad. It's like, wow, you guys really just got like a stable build working like this morning, didn't you? It was not good. So hopefully they're a lot better by the time we use them.
Holy crap! I just looked at the pricing on those things. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Starts at $600 seems to me like to be like Google's like, well, we're saying it starts at $600, but that's for the people who really, really just want to spend $600 and want a tablet and nothing else. And there are probably some of those people.
Well,
but I have a feeling they get a worse experience than they want.
If you want a tablet and nothing else, then you can just get a Fire tablet for $60.
Or you could get like an iPad, which is so much better than probably the $600 Pixel Slate. Like,
it's going to have significantly better tablet apps.
Yeah.
Or
on the Pixel Slate, you get bad Android apps and web apps. That's it.
Yeah,
if you could also get the web. Samsung Panini and get the phone plus a tablet all in one.
So, speaking of pointless tablets, the Nook tablet, a new Nook tablet is announced, and just wow, it's probably rebranded Chinese thing.
This thing exists. Yeah, it is guaranteed to just be some thing you can buy off the shelf in a Chinese warehouse. There's like, we have manufactured 1 million of these. We can put your logo on the back. How many would you like? And that's how the new Nook was created. It's $129, 10.1 inch display. They listed it at 1920 by 2000, but I'm sure that's supposed to be 1920 by 1200. It has some. They didn't even say like what kind of processor is in it because it's Barnes and Noble. They don't care. They will give you. They'll sell you a keyboard dock for it for some amount of money. They haven't said how much yet, but that'll be a thing, I guess.
I'm disappointed this doesn't have the little triangle thing in the corner that you can use to hang it on a bag, like the older Nook tablets.
Oh yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
it was
special.
Yeah, this is going to end up in my stocking for my grandma this year because she shops at Barnes and Noble, and it's techie for Jeff.
Oh boy. Speaking of things that suck,
you guys know how it is.
Motorola One is coming to the US, and oh god, Motorola, it's $400 for a Snapdragon 625 phone, and it's just no.
A 625.
This is so bad.
Screen, Jesus.
They're actually going to sell it for $400 here.
It's $400, and it doesn't work on CDMA carriers, which every other Motorola phone does, even the $100 Moto E.
Yeah, but like for real, like on Motorola's website right now. Hold on, let's look at Motorola's website.
The Moto E5 is under $100 when you get it from a carrier.
So right now you could spend $480 and get the Moto Z3. But I guess that's a Verizon phone. Maybe you don't want to do that. You could get the Z3. The Z3 Play right now is $399. It used to be $499. It is the same number of money dollars right now. Why would you not do that?
And that is Snapdragon 636, right? Or 630?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What's the display resolution on
it? Either way, I guarantee you it is a better.
Tell me the damn phone, Ryan.
You can put projectors on it. It's an infinitely better phone.
Totally pointless. Like this, I guarantee they did this because Best Buy's like, hey, you guys got that weird Nachi phone, right?
636. So yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, we sell iPhones with notches. What if you give us here this Nachi phone you got, and we can say like, hey, you want an iPhone with a notch, but you're the crazy expensive dude. So here we got a phone with a notch. It's just $400.
I really like that we have Italian gangster Reddick on the show today.
Like that's exactly how this went down. Like it's just Best Buy being like, "Hey, give us this phone. We're gonna sell it to everybody's like, oh, the iPhone X is too expensive," and we're like, "Hey, we got basically an iPhone X right already, $400. It's $400."
Yeah, and it has like the iPhone ratio notch too, because if there's a lot of wasted space up there, I think intentionally to make it look more like an iPhone.
Yeah. It's got the same really low resolution screen that the iPhone XR does too.
Yes, it does. Basically, an iPhone XR
that doesn't work on Verizon.
That doesn't work. Yes,
it's dual SIM, Corbin.
No one cares.
Speaking of things that are confusing, somebody announced a mirrorless Android camera. So, like, this looks like something that came out of a crowdfunding campaign. Like, it doesn't look real to me.
I still want one.
Is it real?
It's going to be, I think.
We talked about this a lot during the QA earlier in the week.
Okay, so the name of the brand is Yongnuo, and on that basis, this thing is going to be terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, Cody has a little bit to say on that subject because I guess they're really well known for making very good knockoff lenses.
Oh, really?
Huh. I have to check them out. I love knockoff lenses.
Oh wait,
great.
Mike's not working.
Cody,
like where are they cutting the corner? Like are there like children making the lenses? Like I don't.
It's China.
Well, there very likely are, but no, actually, I shouldn't say that. That's probably offensive. But no, basically, their autofocus is really slow. Very famously, their autofocus is slow, but their glass is pretty good. They make historically knockoff lenses for Canon. And I think they make knockoff lenses for other mounting systems now too. I haven't checked too much on that, but yeah, they've made a name for themselves doing lenses and also a lot of speed lights. And they kind of a little bit more off the beaten path, but they also they're responsible for making a lot of the stuff that you'll find just like white label on Amazon. So if you find something branded Kodak, there's like a good 30% chance this is the company that made that. And yeah, you know, they're actually kind of widely used in the camera world.
So this device though, it'll work with Canon EF lenses, like the knockoffs that they make, as well as like the real deal.
Yes. Or at least they should.
One would hope.
So the weird thing about that too is it's using, or the mount on it is for Canon EF lenses. These are full frame lenses, yet the sensor on it is for a micro four thirds sensor. So you're using lenses that are basically probably 4 to 10 times more expensive than they need to be.
Interesting.
And the crop factor
also
is ridiculous.
Well, it's
also,
going to
like,
be what it is for any lens, but yeah, it's a big waste of what would be otherwise pretty good lenses.
Yeah, I mean, also this thing is going to run Android 7.1 and presumably not an official build, so your access to apps will be questionable.
I would have sworn I thought I saw somewhere some mention that they had actually. I think they were promising Play Store. Maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't know about that. The picture where it shows part of the home screen, I don't see a Play Store icon.
Yeah,
that might not mean anything.
It's a very like China UI.
That a lot of those icons look very much like they were copied straight out of Samsung circa like 2 years ago.
I mean, they look like a Chinese phone UI that's kind of aping Apple.
Yeah. But yeah, I this is still pretty cool. I hope Sony copies it. I do like that it also has I think they said it has LTE connectivity.
Yes.
That would be I would love that for automatic photo backups. That'd be fantastic.
We talked about all of the potential use cases.
I mean, I really honestly, I really just want a camera that automatically uploads everything I take to Dropbox. That would be ideal for me.
Yep. And this could do that.
Either way. Like just like that's what I want. That's what I want. It doesn't even have to run Android. I don't care. Like I just want that functionality.
I definitely want that. I also like the idea. Not that I would use it a lot, but I like the idea of being able to post directly to like sharing services, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And you know, using like photo editing apps, even if you're just applying filters, it would be kind of nice to be able to do that. Yeah. Not that I'm a big filter person, but you know,
you could just make tiny adjustments on the camera itself.
One could theoretically do a review for this camera
with
entirely on
the mirror.
I understand the appeal because this is like the photography nerd equivalent of like figuring out how to get a mouse and a keyboard to work with your PlayStation. It's like, all right, I'm going to destroy everyone.
Everyone started running a mouse and keyboard on Google Glass, but the big problem with this thing is it's also still just designed in such a horrible way. It's basically a phone that has a lens mount stapled on the front.
Does it have a physical shutter?
It does.
That's the only button.
Okay, there's two buttons, or it looks like there's two buttons, but
power button as well. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so physical shutter button, power button, and then it has the like Android touch screen or on-screen navigation buttons. Like that's it. So you're really
I think those look like capacitive buttons next to the screen.
Yeah.
See,
they are. But
I have to admit that the only thing I was excited about with the red hydrogen one was the prospect of having that mount that allowed you to use Canon lenses, because at least that you know that they're going to have good technology in their camera setup, because that's what they do is photography and video editing.
Talked about this, and I don't know.
Wait, what's that?
Was the hydrogen one's lens mount for Canon lenses, and
they're
not
supposed to have it for various different?
Oh,
providers.
that's right.
It's a universal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't
okay.
want to crush your dreams, but you know,
It's
I
not
we
going
don't
to
wanna
happen,
crush
but
your dreams. I really enjoy crushing reds. So I mean, your dreams are like parallel, and I can't really get yours out of the way. Unfortunately, I have to run to dinner, so I will have to leave you guys to wrap up the show.
I think we're just about done anyway.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
without
the
you,
end of the
David, what are we, huh?
show. Okay. All right.
We'll talk about
Like 30 seconds.
reviews next week.
Yes.
So many reviews and Black Friday. Black Friday is already ascending upon us. Black Friday's shadow looms long this year.
It does.
It's
It
blessed.
almost overtook us today. In fact.
It really did.
I'm going to go shop
All
for
right.
some knockoff Canon lenses right now, guys. We'll see you.
All right.
I'm gonna go eat some food. All right. See you guys.
Bye.